The Kansas City Chiefs have a chance to make history this year. And not in some minuscule stat line, not with small technicalities, legitimate history to be made. And as I'm recording this video, we are just approaching the halfway point of this regular season, and it appears as though the Kansas City Chiefs know what is on the line and the players want it. Even with their starting QB, Patrick Mahomes, having his worst season to date, they are still somehow able to be the only undefeated team in the league with 6 games played. So what kind of history are we talking about anyways? Why this is so important and there is so much pressure on the Chiefs is because they have the chance to become the first ever team to win back-to-back-to-back Super Bowls, aka the three-peat. Since the Super Bowl started back in 1966, 8 teams have won back-to-back titles before the Chiefs did. However, not one of these teams were able to complete the three-peat. And what I find interesting about these 8 teams is that not a single one of them was able to make a return back to the Super Bowl in that 3rd year. Meaning that even if the Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl and lost, that in itself would be history. But let's jump back for a second into the pressure of this season. Patrick Mahomes. You better believe he knows exactly what is on the line for his team's legacy, but his own legacy as well. And I don't think it's a stretch or a controversial take to say that he is regarded as the best quarterback of the current generation. But something that comes into the conversation is Mahomes versus Tom Brady. Lots of people love having this discussion. Others hate it, but whatever your stance on the matter is, somebody as good as Mahomes surely has the goal in his mind that he wants to be the greatest of all time, not just his generation. And a stat like 3 Super Bowls won consecutively would be one that he stands alone in, and would certainly give Chiefs fans more ammunition in the Brady versus Mahomes argument. But again, the pressure. Although the Chiefs are winning, Mahomes has not been his usual self we have gotten used to seeing in the 6 seasons prior. He's actually having his worst season to date. Although I guess if you count his 1 game played in the 2017 season, then there could be an argument made there. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to disregard that game and season completely. So let's talk about Mahomes' stats this year. First of all, he's not scoring nearly as many touchdowns as he has previously. Before this season, Mahomes averaged 2.3 touchdowns per game, compared to this year, where so far he is averaging 1 per game. So already with that stat alone, he is producing scoring at below half of what he has in the rest of his career. Okay, so maybe Mahomes isn't scoring as much, but he's probably being safe with the ball, right? Actually, no. Mahomes is also throwing an all-time high interceptions this year, already throwing 8 picks in 6 games, which would put him on pace to throw about 21 interceptions if he played 16 games, which is what he has averaged in the rest of his career. So where is the Chiefs' scoring coming from then? Let's take a look at how their running game has performed in their 2 Super Bowl winning seasons compared to this year. Previously, they were rushing for about 104 yards per game, whereas this season, they are running for about 129 yards per game, which is a significant increase. And along with that, they are averaging 1.5 rushing touchdowns per game, which is doubling what they had produced in their Super Bowl seasons at 0.75 rushing touchdowns per game. So Mahomes isn't playing like himself, but the Chiefs are still 6-0. Is it all chalked up to the running game? Well, not completely. We have to give some credit to the Chiefs' defense because they've only allowed 17.2 points per game from opponents, which is lower than both Super Bowl seasons. As well, they've already picked off opponents 5 times in 6 games, or 0.83 interceptions per game, where they had previously averaged 0.53 interceptions per game in the previous 2 seasons. So even without groundbreaking QB stats, the Chiefs have still figured out a way to win football games. Maybe this is the pivot before everything goes south for this team, or maybe these are the early moves of one of the best football teams of all time.